Cool. Alright, welcome again, guys, to Truth, You don't know podcast where we just have random reasonings. I'm Dunks. We have Il King, Red here. We have Ella. We have Ras. And we have Suna. You see me? Yo, guys, we finally decide on a name, because the man did a fight out the podcast, boys and girls, Even though me personally like it, we finally come up with a name. So you guys are called Truth Nation. You see me? So that is what you guys will be referred to as. However, you don't know from my heart, I still love the podcast, boys and girls. You see me? Nah, let it out. We took a break, but we're back. And since elections are around the corner, we decided that, we'll just jump in on the hype and talk about elections and all that, and see if we can just get a general run through of all of the things that we have on our mind and see if we can talk about that. So remember to join in the comments. Also, the link to the other episodes are in the description below. And also, we're now available on Anchor. And Anchor provides the podcast at different platforms, so you guys can check it out over there as well. Those episodes are a little bit behind, so for the up-to-date episodes, you watch it on YouTube. Cool? All right, so we'll be talking about elections, you see me? And we want to talk about elections in Jamaica, you see? And how Jamaicans, react when at election time. For me personally, it come like a big sports day to me. Just feel like a sports day, especially like nomination day and stuff like that. Yo, I just want a big sports day. What is the experience for you guys?
No substance, just vibes.
Just vibes. Just vibes. At the same thing, I would have said still, because I saw it a move for me too. I don't really get the substance thing yet. I mean, the other day, them do the debates, and I get 1 and 2 pointers from it whenever bad, but mostly I just the vibes, and I really the whole heap of substance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there are two parties, and for me, three. Well, probably even more, But I mean, for me, is who can keep the biggest party. I mean, it's just like that. That is what for me comes to. Who can have the biggest congregation? Who can rally the most people?
And it's ironic, say them name party.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's it for me.
True. Yeah, I agree with what everybody else said. I think it's like a real big dance or it's not going because yes, the mandates come out now. Yes, the debates going on, but you're still not feeling the seriousness of what both parties are trying to say or what they're trying to bring across, new or so forth. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
One note though, I want to big up the people them though for the lack of violence, you see me? Because past history with Jamaican thing, want to come to politics or some serious amount of violence.
Yeah.
You can't wear green, you can't wear orange, but like all nuts film here orange or they might touch the road.
And they want Ella say Ella in a yellow too.
Ella, all them something and they might touch the road. So big up, big up the people them for that, die down the whole violence thing with politics.
Yeah.
But from my experience of politics, people keep saying it lacks substance, like things like that. But for me, it's never really been about that. It doesn't matter what they come out and put in their manifesto. It doesn't really. People are gonna just vote for who they love anyway, and it's mostly just the motorcading and who can get chicken and who can get cement and whatever. It's not really about any manifesto from.
How much people know we actually read it?
But the general population, JLP manifesto could have good goal. If them are PMP, they not vote for them anyway. So
yeah. And as you said that about the vibes, so me they get stuck in a traffic on nomination day. Honestly, I never know say them play for nomination day. I never know say I saw a hype.
Yeah,
But
man.
basically a carnival me stuck in it.
I feel like you miss something, no?
Yo, basically a bike show, carnival, road march, just everything in a one me get stuck in it. I never know say I saw it did hype. You see me?
Yeah.
And people in block several roads. Me I talk about, I wonder if Jamaicans have work. Me I wonder if nobody work.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. I know assumption on me and my colleagues at work there, because there's an MP close by to my office. And just as Danks, I said, the whole plaza come like as a big party or a dance or keep. Like, people just turn up from nowhere. But when you're looking at crowd, I say, imagine half of them people, you have to make some assumptions. Because most of them people, they don't have no vote either. A lot of them will have no electoral. You ever look at that way?
True, man. No for them, on the list.
Yeah, they just, all that to us. They just come out for us, put on shirt.
Freely kind of Jamaica.
I mean, we used to when me younger, like, if motorcade come, if a green people are pass, me have green bush. If a red people are pass, me have pot cover. Me really slides.
Yeah, just vibes real, man.
Free food I give out, all them things, they matter how collect on a lunch, all them business. So people just turn up.
Yeah, that's true. And the biggest joke about the nomination day, because the main road, couldn't drive on the main road, so them start take some shortcut, you see me?
Yeah,
and I tell them, I take a shortcut them in a bare bad road, like the worst road conditions. And people around there in them colors, same way. You see me? Like, it no matter what you see, them still in them colors, them still, and the little bit them in it too. Them just out and ready.
But
you see me?
Not for stray off of the topic, but one thing about, especially this year with the COVID situation and what's going on now, what do you think about the nomination day? Because for one, I thought that both parties would have at least said, all right, let us have a quiet nomination in which, for instance, all the MPs, you have like your VP or just two representatives, and you go up to wherever, you do your nomination, and that's it. No big crowd or anything. So
right.
One thing.
They should have never permitted campaigning for this election. Yeah. Call the election fine, but you should have always told them no campaigning, because it doesn't make sense in the middle of a pandemic. You understand?
Right.
You can do your things over the internet. You can use the money where you use rent truck and thing, rent a ad space and TVJ and say what you need to say, and do your whole thing same way. But they should have never allowed the campaigning. That was irresponsible.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just to add to what you're saying too, them could have still do them town cry and thing. It's just on the nomination day, no gathering, nothing like that. You know, make it just stay outside and no large gathering, no campaigning at all. You see me?
But for me, still, I'm more so along the line. I said trust as well, and how much would I really want to win. Because if them are going to say, all right, then it's up to the MPs, because technically I don't think they can stop them from doing it outright. But if it's a case where you're not stopping, but you tell each MP, say, have to do it, take your own little thing and decide and make sure, say, put the people them at risk and, be that responsible person. What will happen is that if me and Ella run in a one constituency, me not trust say, if me not put out, Ella not put out. Me want my vote.
That's the thing.
Me not trust that.
It have to be an agreement both sides.
So it have to be, it would have to be an agreement both sides and everything. I think that's one of the
But
things.
I don't even think it should have been up to the MPs, like the people them, like wanna go,
just lock them.
Sick, like what is the motivation? And that's part of my aversion to politics. Kind of like it turn people into idiots. I mean, I really stick to it like that.
It's like all laws are breakable at that moment, because like curfews are about, and all these things. You already tell people say stay home. Why? You tell people them say, stand in your yard. And then come out. It's like,
and then remember there were a lot of restrictions and like large gatherings and stuff like that. And then on that day just gone straight through the window.
I'm kind of suspicious say after that day them start hear about the bag of case them.
It's like,
those cases, those people they wanna sick yet. Them not sick yet. Them
No,
so
but may I say, where was this news
it
way
just,
before the election announcement? Like,
and you
Yeah.
just have
me
and then
kind of know, yeah.
you know, probably because before the nomination, there were still small campaigning. I mean, people that
yeah,
drive up and down all over the places. So, I mean, that was always happening, and I guess that was one of the reasons why the cases, you know, upgraded
it's
the
a
number.
holiday weekend, man. When you look at just Spanish Bridge alone, I remember
Yeah.
people that come from every little nook and cranny go just Spanish Bridge alone.
Loan, yeah.
Yeah, imagine. The
Corona
spread.
had a ball that the weekend, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, the funny thing about it, I thought they did this thing where they never told us whether or not there was a curfew on the day. So me, it doesn't confuse me. So I say, yo, I'm not go because I don't know if there's a
curfew.
curfew or
Yeah.
not. But obviously, I was the only person because I mean, all these other places,
Everybody else gone a road.
everybody be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? If they not tell me, that means that in the day, you see me, that is how
Yeah.
they perceived it. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, back to politics. I mean, I was also thinking that if school can online, right? Meaning school, you know, online, test online. Everything else can online, you know, because as far as I see it, if you go give people degree and you don't know, say, oh, you see me, them go there to do tests online and all something. Then if I really trust you, I run from, you know what I mean? And you already implement that system, make a system then for voters and for all the other things. And
That
then,
makes sense, you know, but I think, you know, by law, the thing with Jamaican law is that we take forever to change it.
For change,
So
yeah.
it is a case where you need certain laws to go do that. Well, God help us. Because
Yeah.
me in a finance, I know, so like for general meetings, AGM, what happens is that it have to be done face to face. It's in a law. You see me?
Yeah,
and the government and everybody take like about 6 to 7 months to change that. Some company have to postpone AGM because they want to do it online, but by law it cannot be done.
Cannot be done.
Yeah, it cannot.
Yeah,
You
because
know
some of them lawyer written in a time when not even like never the boat, brother.
way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one of them are even more afraid to touch this because the whole freedom to vote thing there. The whole human rights issue that and go afraid.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Plus, then again, you have the problem of hackers or whatever. But I mean,
That
yes, me. Jamaica.
well, I would have find a way.
Yeah, the corruption.
Yo, they would not find out because you have some people. You find some people end up vote all more than once. You find a way to take off that thing there for them finger. And I say, I know them, I hear about them.
I hear of cases where people use dead people ID for vote.
Yeah, me hear say people vote for their family too, you know. Like, you don't know, say I force somebody living in my house, but two of them well old, they can't make the walk come down a polling.
Yeah.
So me I vote for them. You can't tell me something. You know say them a labor right? You all away a labor right? You know that. So,
I mean,
but with that said though, I wanted to ask you guys, like, for the JLP administration, if you were to give them a grade, so A, B, C, D, what grade would you give them for the term that they have spent so far? What would be the grade?
A, B, C, D.
What is science? What is literacy?
But you might want to put E in it because
E for effort. Yeah.
E go drop you 50. You know what I mean? I don't know if one go so far. But probably 60. No percentage. Yeah.
So what started? Because I don't know me.
You've really started, eh? 60.
Go on, let's go on.
Yeah, but let's say, when I say 60%, 6 out of 10. Because if I say C, then it's like 50, you know what I mean? And they did do good things, you know what I mean? I think this administration was more in touch with the people in regards to information. Well, information that they want us to see.
Communication did good.
Yeah, so communication was always, it was encoded, even though it was on most of like platforms that would have been more interactive to young people. I mean, like I would see myself not watching news now. You get me? I say like most of us young people wouldn't watch news, but like information gets to us on like all the other platforms, social media and stuff like that. So
Right.
if that is one thing that I'm grateful of is you don't have to go and find the information in some cases. Like it just appears on some of the platforms that you're already on doing other things. So the
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 for me right now.
So we're gonna use the percentage system since that's easier for use. Probably give them 160 or 150. And this is my reason. Initially, so when they started out, they did a very good job. You see me? But I think that just like how you're there at school and you get your classwork and you will do really well on your classwork, there comes a time when you have to do the exam. And I feel like this pandemic was the exam for this government, and I feel like, especially what's happening now, some of the decisions they made in the latter part of it, take away one whole heap of marks from them. So, as Verly was saying, initially, they tried to make an effort in terms of connecting with young people, getting information out there. There were also a lot of times when, they make the wrong move, but based on what the people them say, them change that. They try to hold members of their cabinet accountable. And Brogard really tried. You see me? Yeah. However, the pandemic, really and truly, like, especially what is happening in the latter part here, and the whole situation with the doctors and just the lack of, preparation and the lack of planning, and we're just behind in terms of, even when you look at the other Caribbean countries and how they handled it, we did not have the things in place. I mean, I say, we were able to lock down the country like some of the other places, but at the same time, we never implement certain things that needed to be implemented. It's almost like the government don't know who Jamaicans are and did not have the system in place to, manage the people. So for that, that's why I give them a 50. But initially, up until the pandemic, they did a good job.
I think I would say, all right, for me, I don't see where they did much different than the previous administration. What I think is the difference is, as they were referred to, the articulate minority, right? So we have Twitter now, I'll have more access to information. So for PR, I give them 100%, right? But in terms of corruption, yes, for the road work, I can definitely say good job and, other things like that. But in terms of corruption, in terms of crime management, stuff like that, they haven't really done anything in terms of increasing access to education. They have provided jobs, yes, but
that them really make no sense.
In terms of things like that, it's not much different for me, but they do really, 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 really good PR. And the PR that they do, they kind of create this belief now that they're somehow so different and so fresh and so whatever, but they're not really. It's just what they put out and how they're able to relate to people and the class and the
narrative.
Yeah. So from my grade, and then again, for the previous administration, a lot of us were younger, so maybe we weren't really paying that much attention like what we're paying now. So certain things look, this look nice, whatever, but it's really and truly not necessarily new, just more obvious to you now. So I give them, maybe like a 60.
Okay.
Cause me like the access to information.
Yeah, details.
I put them for me, I give them a 65. Why may I push them so high? Cause that high in my standard. Because me live through just 2 administration. I did PJ, me now come Bruce, and then I did just Portia. I don't really have much to judge against. You get what I say? So in terms of that, to me, them never, as Ella did I say, they never do much different. The communication did way up. Corruption was at an all-time high. But then again, maybe it's because of the whole internet and so on and so forth. We get more access to information, so they're more accountable just because of media itself. So we're not too sure what did happen before.
I say allegedly. They say PJ was very good at hiding what he was doing, Yeah. It was done, but you can't prove it.
Allegedly. Yeah. But for me, like education, them kind of never do nothing new with that. I mean, them definitely fail crime. That was a failure. I mean, if you hear one more SOE, like never punch somebody like it is not a long-term crime fighting strategy. It's very poor. Yeah. People really need to know this. I know say, oh, them rights I get breached left, right, and center. And for me as well, one of the things when I think happened to them is that during like COVID, because their whole campaign and their whole government was centered around the whole media and getting people to like them. When COVID hit now, some of the decisions that you have to make are going to make people not like you. And I think that was where their administration was at a little gap there because they're not sure what to do. Like, these are the right thing to do, but if we do that, people are not going to like we in an election year. So we have to kind of find a way to make it say, oh, we give people an option. Even though we know that they are going to do the wrong thing, we still give them an option. That way we can blame the people and the people now have to blame we as a government. Because to me, them really run away from the tough choices. Most of the tough choices that did for make sure them step back because they don't have the people them in them hands and them really never want to lose that election. So I think that really pressure them in the whole COVID environment. But all in all, I give them that in terms of finance, them do extremely well. Not gonna lie. Yeah, Nigel Clark did really did the on top of him game. At the first, Jamaica grew like every quarter. Jamaica did actually grow. In terms of jobs, that failed, but people get tricked. Unemployment will go down, but the quality of the jobs are really poor. And agriculture failed, no improvement there. Like, it get worse, to tell you the truth. So that's why them they wait on a 65. I mean, the PR are going to make people say otherwise, but we don't really see them further than that.
All right.
As for me, as everybody say, I give them good pluses for the PR and marketing and being a light in the public and thing. Especially Bro God himself, he was there. Like, you could really see his presence in most of the things or in all areas, and that's good PR and management. However, just like what Danks was saying, I think they started out very well. I have to give them kudos to that. It was I think Jamaica needed a little difference, a little shift of ideas and stuff. And they had started out with a shift of ideas. But I think they fell down in a lot of areas, just like what Ross is saying, like agriculture especially. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that sector. And I think they have really failed there. And I think the failure is because they paid so much attention to some sectors that are somewhat seasonal and not much dire, and it caused in the pandemic, it really showed it up. For instance, tourism. There's nothing wrong with tourism, but building your economy strictly around tourism. When the COVID situation hit, it really shows that it cannot be sustainable on tourism. You have to build your economy around finance, agriculture, things that have been there even before your forefathers were. So it really needed to look at those areas. But the reason why it's not really a blame game, but I think they started to drop off form or started to underperform is because the other party wasn't keeping them accountable. Because I don't think, PNP wasn't really stable enough to pressure them into performing well. I don't think they were,
And I think their strategy was off too because they kind of focused more upon just showing up people that are doing like corruption.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Other things.
A lot of scandals and things, but there weren't any ideas or any suggestions brought across to fix those issues.
But that bad too, especially for agriculture, because if it is a case where you're the opposition and the person in charge now do nothing at all in agriculture, like literally, them hardly did do nothing. And you as the opposition never point that out and see that that was a problem. You come like you never pay that, no mind, none at all.
Yeah,
That means that when
But
you
you
go in a
want them to
government,
fail so you can use it as an excuse in your campaign.
Or it's not a core focus either.
it's just not a core focus for both parties. And we just get to realize that them really just look on that.
So, to be honest, I think GLP, like, they were just basically on an autopilot after a while. Just cruise control.
Yeah.
And because of that, I would definitely, it's between a 50 and a 60 for me too. Because both parties, I think both parties were just cruising. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely they found a groove and it was working because the Clarks and the Brogard and the, that was where the focus was, and it worked for a very good time. Honestly, I feel like COVID really showed up a lot of the weaknesses in the party itself. And then crime, but because there were so many other distractions at the time, people, I feel like Jamaican people also get used to crime in a way. That's not good, but
not good,
that's the reality. People just get used to it. So it's not like the numbers are really scare nobody anymore like that. So the whole PR and the whole, keeping up to date and Daddy One and Brogard and Clarks and all of that really, created this, as such said, created this narrative. Like, them just do such a good job and them listen to everybody and whatever.
Especially with health, you guys in a health, so you're supposed to see it firsthand. But may I tell you, the whole health PR day, it did bad.
Yep.
To how the PR did good, me hear enough people are road that say, Tufton was the best health minister ever.
Yeah.
So man, I run the PR, people not even realize, say, when them go hospital, them not get certain things. Like the people, them just, everybody I watch them fitness and a Jamaica moves, them not even understand what go on.
Yeah.
But I don't agree that they did a bad job with the pandemic. I think based on the size of our country, based on the socioeconomic standing of a lot of our citizens, they just could not implement certain things. Because it's either you're dead from COVID or you're dead from hunger for certain people.
Yeah.
Right? So based on all of that, I don't think they did a bad job. And I do think...
I think of the implementation though, I think I agree with you in terms of say, I think what they implement did successful. I just think them never, the people them who have to follow through these rules or to ensure say, that person they remain in, what you call it? Quarantine and them sort of, the rules them never enforce.
That's what I was going to say. So the problem I think isn't at the administrative level, is the follow through, because your boss can come and tell you to do XYZ, but if you don't do it properly, it's not going to be successful. And then people keep saying, this is why we have government, because everybody needs governance, so the blame is on the government. I don't think so. I think you have a personal responsibility to cover your nose and your mouth. Don't ground up on people and turn your yard. What's so hard?
No, but this is where
and
I
then
disagree.
Hold on. If the government now supposed to take one militarized approach to it and fine you $3,000 or 6 months in prison if you don't wear a mask, they have a problem with the same way.
But
so
at
that point, like, what are they supposed to do?
But that is the problem. You're going to damned if you do, damned if you don't, really and truly. Because my pushback on that would be,
bad job.
As you said, so the first part of that I agree with, where you're saying that, like, for the size of the country and the socio-economic standing of the country, not everything we could do like the smaller country. Really difficult. However, as a governing body, you're really there if you govern, really and truly. And if it takes, and I feel like the reason why some of these harsher things weren't implemented was because it's an election year. I feel like there are other steps that they could have taken, like even the wearing of masks and ensuring social distancing. Brother, we see the news. You have people in India who are running with people with stick. Like, people
but that's it. That's
don't
the Indian police. Our police have other laws
I'm not saying,
supposed to uphold, but they're not uphold that neither. So you think they're going to ticket people for masks?
No, but that is what I'm saying. Like, we have to understand Jamaicans. I understand how Jamaicans work. I always use this example. You see, when them say, the curfew, when the curfew was initially put in place, the first reaction of Jamaicans, say, yo, me not go nowhere. There was a video of the brother out the door say, yo, me not going. And then them lock him up. You see, after them
lock him up, people start.
Everybody start going. And I see him thing with the beaches. Yo, beach ban. Everybody there beat same way. Them have to lock up the people them. And then Jamaican say, yo, Ray. So where Andrew Holness was asking people to maintain social distancing, the people them not gonna listen to you unless there is something that is in place to say, all right, yo, say police come around this other day and we never did a social distance and we get fined XYZ. Like something has to be in place for the Jamaicans to actually follow it.
We think you could have do a fine. We think you could have do a fine still.
Yeah, and that is the part of it where me I say.
Them start that now. Them start it now.
Yeah, because we grooming at this from school days,
Yeah, sorry. So that I part when we give them the feeling for, like, yo, you just never understand your people and do what was necessary. Sorry for cutting us.
Yeah, man. I believe so. We're grooming at this from like school days. You have a farm prefect or a farm captain, and him not have no power whatsoever. And then the teacher say everybody should be quiet, and then the teacher step out of the class. I hate that, Everybody up on top of them voice, you see me?
That's what I'm saying. So what is the government supposed to do? Come around and govern each one of we
individually? What the government supposed to do is give the farm prefect the authority to give them people a detention. And then when the farm prefect start drop...
Jamaica, go give no detention, look on speeding, something as simple as speeding. The man them not get no speeding ticket, the man them not ticket, no, whatever. Stuff like that. And then on the flip side, when they try to implement the laws, look how people them react to them. If they ever try to take one bus halfway, 3 people them gang them and beat them.
So you have
that's
the fear.
People.
That's the fear, the retaliation for if you
do
something.
I think
that's
what happen. People, if we have one better set of people, it would be better.
That's true.
Well. The truth, it is true. Both of the sides are true. But I don't think that the people have more power than the government. Like, me still believe that the government has this power that they are not using. Like, for instance, these places that are not practicing the isolation or the spacings or whatever, parties and them something they keep. You see, even Bolt right now keep the party there where it go on. Him forget fine. Like, them things there, not for go on. They get my try say, me just believe say, yo, even though you're saying that the people should do this and do that, there should be a body of persons, health ministry or wherever, or security ministry, that is going out to these places, checking these stores, checking these events.
How much store there in Jamaica?
No,
how much health minister there in Jamaica?
We're not necessarily stores, but like events, like things that they were given permit for. You know what I mean?
But the same thing with the robot taxi, them. You have transport, and you have a robot taxi. We still have robot taxi. But the thing is, how me see it is that if we never have transport, we would still have way more robot taxi.
Way more robot.
So,
I guess.
I
think that the way how Jamaican people mentality set up right now,
they're
beyond governance. You have to over them with one big stick individually. You have to go assign police to households.
But that's the thing.
The police can't bribe neither, because that's a whole thing.
That is the whole thing, That is why you're put in power. You can't now blame. You had this system however long. And really and truly, as I said, I don't want whole heap of government to go through a pandemic like COVID.
No.
Highlight a lot of these failures. But the thing is, we realize now that the stuff where you work with not really work. And that the sad part of it is it falls on the government. It falls on the government to say,
me think to get Jamaican people under control, you have to go to them like Cuba or Russia or something like that.
You have to see the
communists.
The Jamaican people them are not so normal people. You can imagine you have a teacher with a class of unruly students. And have once that those type of schools, how difficult it is to get that class under control. You can imagine one whole country of people like that.
That's true.
Hard to get under control when the teacher in the class.
Much
less if a teacher step up, because I've seen with my own eyes, so like nook and cranny, because me I go home patient and something. Now me drive without the police knows that people live around there so much as we go police them.
Yeah,
and they gather, their shop pays are full of people, whatever. Like, what are you asking them to do? That's what I'm asking.
But there are other things that they feel that as well, because even with the returning residents, and you know, them couldn't find 5,000 returning residents, and that just poor. If you're going
but
to
it's honesty of the people, because what you do.
Hold on, man. You have to have the system in place first, because the initial system was, okay, you're going to fill out XYZ and we expect you to do this by XYZ time. No, you can't do that. You have to take this thing more seriously than that.
But they've never experienced a pandemic before. I think that if I were the government and me tell people, say, you know, say if you do XYZ, you're going to drop down and dead, people would have probably tried not to do XYZ. You understand? You can't blame them if you look at it like, hey, guys, this is what's going on. You know, if you do the right thing, then XYZ. You not expect mass groups of people to just risk their life for no reason. You understand?
Yeah, but even the residents that came in, like, we really can't understand why it's so hard to track them people. Why it's so hard to find them people.
It's very easy.
Make them pay fine. You get me? You come to the airport. It's not like you come on a banana boat or anything. Yeah. You come to the airport, so they know. So you come.
And them sign up on a COVID app.
They get me.
So you can leave the phone at home.
No, but you know, one day I talked to one of my friends who was flying, and she had tell me, because one of my other friends flown in, and she was like, they tested her, but she never get back her test. So she said probably good, because she not tell me if I have it or not. Another one came in, and she was like, they never tested her because
you have to call them.
Or so I say, yo, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, you have to call them.
But I say, yo, when you come to the airport, they take them test. There's no way to pass through the airport and I get this.
Yeah, but we're still giving people. I think that's the problem with crime and everything. I think we give people too much space to be deviant.
Way too much.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
if you even come to the airport and nobody not test you, you have a personal risk. We keep taking the personal responsibility of each people, and it leads back to crime. Because what happens is, we live here so and things are going next door, but under my business and under my personal responsibility, and government supposed to do this and government supposed to do, each citizen has to take accountability. Each citizen has to do the right thing always across the board, and that's how you get a community or a country where, you know, you have peace and you have law-abiding citizens, and we not run rampant with corruption. But the thing is, we allow these things to happen because it might benefit we. Because now, if me feel like fly at one Miami, me like the system we're in place, so when me come back, me not have to quarantine, so me not go try, you know, call and say, yo, you know, send me neighbor outside or blah, blah, blah. So it's the personal risk. The government have their part, sure, but I think we keep taking away responsibility, because anybody that comes into the country and does not want to quarantine, in my eyes, is an idiot, and that's it.
Okay, just not to cut anybody still. So we have to cut the episode. So this is part 1, guys. We're going to release part 2 on Wednesday, the 2nd of September. So definitely join in, and we want to hear your comments. So you can, or read your comments. You can put your comments in the description or in the comment section, sorry. And thank you guys for watching.